Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing my November reads and I hope you enjoy. So I read 9 books in November, which I technically should have read more because I'm a little bit behind on my Goodreads goal. Oops. But 9 is pretty good and it was a pretty decent reading month in terms of like what I was enjoying. So yeah, let's get in with the first one. A strong start, kind of. We have Uncharmed. This is quite a popular book. I think I've already posted about it somewhere. I think I did it. Yeah, I did a chatty review of Rewitched and Uncharmed. I think I gave it 3.75 because I loved most of the book, but the ending, if you've read it, I feel like you could agree with me. I don't like the ending. It kind of ruined everything else in the book for me, but most of the book was good. It was very cozy, very autumnal, loved the magical element, the fact there's witches and all the animals, loved that, just hated the ending. I won't go into it too much because I have already done a video on this, so if you want to watch that, it's not too far down my channel. But yeah, that's the first one I read. The second one I read on my Kindle, so I will put the cover here, but it was called The Future of Geography by Tim Marshall, I think it is. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. I really need to check these. I have a really bad memory. Anyways, I've been trying to read more non-fiction because I don't really read a lot of it anymore now that I'm out of uni, because I did a literature and creative writing degree. So obviously when I was there, I was reading a lot of non-fiction and then I kind of just stopped completely and I was starting to miss it, so I decided to read this one because I love space. I will say there were some parts where I felt too stupid to understand it because I needed to know other things, but most of the time it was quite like a good introductory book to that topic, and he's quite funny. I was annotating on my Kindle and there were so many bits I highlighted because it made me laugh, which is a good sign of a great book. So yeah, if you like non-fiction or if you don't know and you're looking to get into it, Tim Marshall is a really good starter, and yeah, The Future of Geography was really good. Right, this next one feels a bit like a cop-out because I wrote this one. By the time this video comes out, it will already be out, but it is currently, as I'm recording this, it releases on Friday. I've reread it quite a lot to edit it, so I was like, you know, I'm just gonna mark it read once because I deserve that. I have read it multiple times. So yeah, this is my book. In terms of like a quick selling point, I guess, it is the 4th book in the series. Wait, I can actually fully show you the whole thing together. I'm knocking everything over. That's all of them together, so pretty. If you like historical fiction and novellas, like nice quick reads, these are really good. To quickly summarize, there's one book for each sister. Felicity is a slow burn romance with a love triangle. Oh, they're all set in 1814, by the way. Adelaide is like a domestic romance. Kitty is very dramatic and it's about how relationships can turn quite sour and toxic. And then book 4, if you read the other ones you'll know what happens. I feel like I can't really spoil it, but Phyllis's story is kind of like, you know what's going to happen and you're spending the entire book reading it just knowing that, and it's quite an emotional one. But yeah, that's all of those. So if you are interested, they are on my Etsy, which is FaithFawcettBooks. You can get them signed. I also have merch for them, have bookmarks, stickers, all that fun stuff. But if you don't mind that it's not signed and you don't want the merch, it is on Amazon as well in ebook and paperback. The next book that I read is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. This was quite an emotional read. I read this in a reading vlog. I think it was called Reading Blind Dates with a Book, I think is what I named it. I'll mention all these videos in the comments, in the description, so that if you do want to find them I can kind of navigate you to them a bit quicker. But yeah, so I've kind of talked about my thoughts on that book quite a bit already, so I won't go into too much detail, but I really liked it. I gave it 5 stars, I think. It was very emotional. I thought it told the story very well, and just the way it was designed was really strong to like evoke emotion and to make you think about things. So that's kind of what I'll say about that one without going into too much detail, but I do massively recommend it, especially if you enjoyed the film. The book was as good as the film. It was amazing. The 5th book that I read was called The 10 PM Question, and this one I think I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't because it was a terrible book. I thought the representation of OCD was really accurate. I'm diagnosed with OCD and it's not often you find that in a book, so I appreciated that, and I appreciated it being actually realistic and not stereotypical. But I just found the genre, I don't really like that genre, so I kind of struggled. Again, this is in that same reading vlog if you want to watch it. So yeah, it's a good book, but it's just because I don't read that genre, I struggled a little bit more, which is why I didn't rate it lower than that. 3 for me is like, yeah, it's a good book, it's all right, it's just not like wow. So yeah, that was the 10 p.m. question. The next book that I read was Secrets of the Dead by Laura Carter. Laura is a fellow indie author. She is super duper lovely, and she has a series which is called The Lost Kingdom Saga. This is book 1. I'd already read it in the summer of this year, but I reread it now. I've got the paperbacks and I annotated it. Okay, you can't really see in there, but basically, wait, let me try and get an example. Oh, I'm not going to give you a yellow one because that won't show up. I didn't really write much. I just kind of highlighted so that I wasn't being really slow reading it, because I was literally verging on a reading slump when I started this. So I just highlighted my favourite bits to look back on, but oh my god, it was so good. And then I'll talk about it at the same time. But after that, I then read the second book, which is Legacy of the Heirs. Again, I annotated this one, and like, honest, these were amazing. Like, they were so good. I'm very excited to read the next one. I'm just having some palate cleansers in between because, oh my god, it's emotional. I don't want to spoil anything, but you care about these characters. She does such a good job at like bringing you in, and then something happens and it's like, don't touch them. Like, the emotion that these books, I want to throw them across the room when something happens. Like, that's how visceral it is. They're so good. So if you do like fantasy and like politics in fantasy, mega recommend these. The 8th book that I read was The Return of the King, which is the 3rd Lord of the Rings book. I think I gave this one 4.5 stars. The first part of the book was a little bit slow for me. I was a bit confused. I loved seeing Merry and Pippin though. But it was the second half, book 6, where I was like, no, I actually love The Lord of the Rings. It was all setting in that it was like coming to an end, and I'm like, no, I'm actually not ready for it to end. And I was feeling quite emotional about it and all the characters, and I don't want to spoil anything, but like Sam and Frodo, do you know what I mean? Overall, I found parts of Lord of the Rings quite challenging, but I would say as a series in its whole, I would like to reread it now that I've got a clearer idea. But I just think it's one of those that you've got to keep going back to because you'll pick up on new things. But I've really enjoyed it. I really did. I see the hype, I understand, and yeah. I've heard, oh, I can't remember what it's called, but I was watching a video on like the reading order, so I've put the next one in that reading order in my Amazon wishlist so that I can like go to that at some point, because like I don't know if I should reread them. Like I own them all on my Kindle, so I could reread them now, but I want to know more about the world. So yeah, I can't remember. It's like The Children of something. I don't know. Someone will know. I don't know. There's probably people that actually know The Lord of the Rings a lot better than I do watching this, but I did enjoy it. I'm very excited to read more of that world. And yeah, the last book that I read in November was called No Strings Attached. I read this on my Kindle. So they're doing, I don't know if they're still doing it, but the other day their Kindle was doing that deal where it's like 99p for Kindle Unlimited for 3 months. And I thought it wouldn't let me because I'd already had KU before, but it let me, and I was like, ah! I've been waiting for my sign to go back to KU, and this was that. So I read that one because it was like a novella, and I was like, I need to read something else before this month ends. It was spicy, so it is 18 plus, so if you are under 18, don't read this one. It was alright. I think I gave it like 3 stars or like 3.5. There were definitely like good moments where I was feeling something, like they were hinting at like deeper topics of like being in a toxic relationship, self-love and that, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I get behind that. But every time they started doing that, it would then go into like a smut scene straight away and just undermine like the whole point of it. And I'm like, right, I understand it's a smutty book, but there's a time and a place, and you need to get the balance right, and the balance was off for me. I did look at reviews after, and people were saying the same thing, so I'm not cuckoo. So it was nice. It was alright. It wasn't a bad book. It just wasn't a great book. Yeah. Anyways, those are the 9 books that I read in November. I do have my work cut out for me because I have to read 19 in December, and I've read 1 so far, and I'm filming this on the 3rd. Have I read 1 or I've read 2. So I had to read 20 this month. I've read 2. I read The Nutcracker and Never Ever After, which Never Ever After is it a reading vlog? It is, so I'll link that one as well. I don't know why I got so excited about that. But yeah, I've still got to read 18 books by the end of the year, so it's going to be quite tricky. But yeah, anyways, I do hope you enjoyed my little November reading wrap up, and I hope you're enjoying Faithmas as well. I'm putting in a lot of work behind the scenes, so I really do hope it is good. And yeah, if you could like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, that'd be really amazing. I'm kind of hoping to get to 200 subs by the end of December. You know, posting daily, at least let me get 24 more subscribers. Like, that's it, that's all I want. But yeah, anyways, if you have any video ideas that you would like, please comment them down below, because I have not got the whole of like Faithmas planned, and yeah, I obviously want to make content that you guys like as well. I can't promise I'll do it, but if it's something that I'm like, yeah, I like the idea of that, then I'll do it. Anyways, I'm gonna stop waffling because I have a tendency to do that. But I hope you have a super lovely evening, and I will see you tomorrow.